I'd like to share with you this week's Parsha Noach, something very nice from the Rebbe's father, Rabbi Yitzchok Zatzal. In this week's Parsha, we have at the end, it says Noach gave birth to 3 children, and one was Avraham Avinu, Avram. The Gemara in Baba Basra, the Tzadik Aleph Amar Aleph, says a very interesting thing. In Chumash, we don't have who Avraham Avinu's mother was, but the Gemara says it's actually a Gemara that needs explanation, and the Rebbe's father explains it. The mother of Avraham Avinu was called Amasloi, and she was the daughter of Karnavo. That was the name, Amasloi Bas Karnavoy. Haman's mother was also Amasloi, the same name, but Amasloi's mother, who's the grandmother of Haman, was called Urvise. Both have the same name, Amasloi, very strange. There must be a connection here. The Gemara continues and says that you should remember which Amasloi is the Haman one and which is the Avraham one. It's hinted in the grandmother's name. By Avraham Avinu, it's Amasloi, the mother's name, Bas Karnavoy. The first 2 letters, Chof Reish Kar, in Chumash, means a lamb, as we have in Parshas Hazinu im Chelev Korim, the fats of the lambs. So a lamb is kosher. So the grandmother's name is hinted. She gave birth. The source, the carnivore, was a kosher name, so to say. The source of that word is kosher. She gave birth to Amasloi, who gave birth to Avraham Avinu, who was a kosher person, so to say. Amasloi of Avraham Avinu, of Haman, the mother was Urvise, from the source of Oirev. Oirev, Ayin, Vov, Reish Beis, is a raven. A raven is not a kosher bird. Hinting, this Urvise, Orev, the raven, not kosher, gave birth to Amasloi, who gave birth to Haman. So in the grandmother's name, it's hinted which Amasloi is kosher and which Amasloi is not kosher. Here, Rabbi Levi has a very interesting hint and remez in the Gemara. If you take the word Oirev, the source of the grandmother's name of Haman, adds up to 278. Ayin Vov Reish Beis. And if you take also Karnavoy, Chof Reish Nun Beis Vov, the grandmother of Avraham Avinu, also adds up to 278. So not only in the Amasloi is there a connection, there's also a connection in the grandmother, in the Gematria. They both add up to 278. Oirev and Karnavoy. Comes Rabbi Levi now and explains what's the meaning of this. They both mothers were Amasloi. And he said this is what's called, Zel Umazeh. Avraham Avinu was the source of spreading godliness into the world, and Haman was just the opposite. And that's why the Eibishter made especially the mother should be the same to hint to you. This is one opposite the other. Avraham wanted to bring godliness into the world, and Haman wanted to do the opposite. And here we find a few interesting remozim that Rabbi Yitzchok explains in connection. Number 1, we find, very interesting, in Parshas Vayera, Avraham Avinu, Vayita Eshel, he built an orchard, he built trees, eitzim. For what purpose? To invite people, and Vayikra Sham, he called people over there to call out Hashem's name, Kei Loilam, that Hashem is the God of the world, to spread the godliness in the world. Haman was also involved in eitz. He made the gallows, Chamishim Amma, to hang up Mordechai, to erase Hashem's name through Mordechai, to erase the Yidden. So they're both involved with eitzim, just the opposite. Here in Kedusha Avraham Avinu, and here in Klippa, in the negative. Another very interesting hint, says Rabbi Yitzchok, everything is so exact. If you look in Avraham Avinu's name, the last 2 letters of his name is Hey Mem. There's nothing more than the Mem. The Mem is a final letter. Mem Soifis, a final Mem. Hey Mem. Haman also has the letters Hey Mem. He starts his name with Hey Mem, and then he has a Nun afterwards. It explains the Chassidus. You can look up in Torah this week in Noach that he explains Tzemach Tzedek explains it all over Chassidus, the difference between a mem that's open and a mem that's closed off, the final mem. A regular mem that's open symbolizes where Hashem created the world, but he also created in such a way where he gave room for klipa, for negativity, for impure powers in the world. Of course, to overcome it, to give free choice, but it's that source of Hashem. That's why the mem is open on the bottom, showing that the flow of Hashem, that chayis, the godly power, could come down lower into the world, where it gives room for even a Haman. A mem stuma, Avraham Avinu's name symbolizes, no, it's closed off completely, showing that the power of Hashem and the godliness and the koyach of Hashem, the energy of Hashem, will only be in the realm of kedusha. That won't go out into any negative forces. And that's why Avraham Avinu finishes his name with a mem. But Haman, no, he has his middle letter, and what comes afterwards? That nun, hey, mem nun, symbolize this is of course he got a source from Hashem, but that's where Hashem gave room for even for such a negative power, and from that can even come out the nun, which is 50, which is using out that that same wood to hang up a Mordechai Chas v'Shalom. And of course Hashem turned everything around, and everything that Avraham Avinu wanted to do, the hey man will eventually happen. Mashiach will come. We will have the full glory. The whole world will turn into a closed mem, so to say, that everything in the world will only realize the greatness of Hashem. And that's what's hinted in the Gemara. It's so beautiful how Haman and Avraham Avinu were the zel, one the opposite of the other.